and welcome to another edition of Prolific Profiles right here on Prolific Radio, www.prolific.com. Today we have quite an informative show for you. We are in here talking to Mr. Donald Bates. Donald Bates, former homeless individual. He was in the news recently. He was all over the Lehigh Valley atmosphere because they were talking about him. He did a great speech at the city council meeting, and it was just amazing. They had you on the news, you were on the internet, people are writing about you on the blogs, newspaper. So first of all, I want to say thank you for coming. I know you've got a busy schedule. How's everything going?
Real good, and I'm blessed.
All right, great. And we have here none other than Mr. Megawatts. You know what I'm saying? Mr. Megawatts. We call him Mike Watts, the owner of Watts Works, located right here at the Allentown Business Center. We're right here. He's actually my neighbor around the corner. He's coming in on the conversation to add his inputs. We're going to be talking about some good things in here today, about the realities of living in Allentown from the homeless point of view. Well, first of all, Mr. Donald Bates, first of all, tell us, where are you originally from?
I'm originally from Reading, Pennsylvania.
Okay, and you being from Reading, how long have you been in Allentown?
I've been in Allentown since 1978.
1978. So, and a lot of people, they have these misconceptions about the homeless, like, you all don't want to do anything. They try to use a lot of derogative terms like bum and street person, whatever. But you actually, they say, you were employed. You worked for years. You actually retired. Where did you work at?
I worked at Trademark Industries down at 4th and Gordon Streets.
And what did you do there?
I was a machine operator, put silkscreen printing on plastic bottles.
Wow, okay. And how long did you do that?
I worked there for 6 years.
Wow, okay. Now, what was the situation where you found out you ended up getting into the going out, I guess, on the homeless situation?
Well, back then I went and I got into an accident and I couldn't work no more. And then I collected unemployment until that ran out, and then it was out to the streets you go. Now, because you didn't choose. I don't think anybody really chooses to be homeless. What was the downward spiral? I mean, a lot of people think, oh, were you a drug addict or anything like that? Or no, I didn't choose to be homeless. It's just when you can't pay your rent because you got laid off and your unemployment runs out, your landlord say, you got to move. So where do you go? Especially when you have no family or anybody around to help you out. You go to these organizations, and they say, oh, yeah, we'll help you. But then all they do is they do a lot of paperwork, a lot of lip work, and they file you away.
And that's exactly what happened? Because how long were you on the streets?
I've been on the streets 8 years.
8 years. Wow, that's a long time. I'm sorry, Mike.
You said you've been on the streets. Are you still on the streets?
No, I'm off the streets.
Okay.
All right, yeah.
He's off the streets 1 year now.
He's 1 year. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Now, and you were here on the streets of Allentown for the last 8 years.
8 years.
Now, my thing is that, did you feel like you were an invisible person? Because people saw you. Can't tell me. People didn't see you every day. Same situation. What did you do?
Same situation. Every day they see me being up and down Hamilton Street, panhandling for change, so I get a pack of cigarettes or a drink. I ain't gonna lie. I drank beer then. I drank whiskey to stay warm. You know what I mean? I used to go out to Cedar Crest Boulevard and hold a sign, homeless and willing can work for food. I had people stop and put me to work, and I worked for them, At least I was honest. I was hungry.
Right. So you were willing to do the work. This is not a situation where you were just like, I just want to be out, do whatever I want to do. You wanted to work.
Yeah, I wanted to work. I was unable to work. I got pins in my legs. I fractured my back when I fell off a railroad trestle. So it's like I got to watch what I lift and what I do. It's a job. If I could do the job, I did the job.
Right.
Show people I wasn't there just for handouts.
Right.
I wanted to earn it.
If you don't mind me asking, what is your age?
I am 66 years old.
Right, 66. Okay. So you're still a young man, to be honest with you. 66 is not old.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now tell me this now. what, just for, because a lot of times when people think of homeless, they think of like the big cities, New York, Philly, Miami, where they think about these big crowds of homeless people and homeless cities. For you, what was the average year? You talk about 8 years. What was the average day for you like? You woke up in the morning, and what did it consist of?
Woke up in the morning, the first thing we did was go find a place where we could get warm in the winter, and a place where we could stay cool in the summer. That was the first thing we did as soon as we got out of bed, a place where we could go wash our faces, maybe get a cup of coffee, and get our day started, make plans of what we're going to do for the day. Now,
so this was, it was almost like a job. You were basically self-preservation. You were working to survive.
Right.
And you said we.
There was a bunch of us. We hung together.
So
because on the streets of Allentown, if you're by yourself in a tent, you have chances of getting hurt.
Wow.
Of getting robbed, getting shot, getting cut, or whoever would come through there. They see you got a little something they want that they can make money on, they're going to rob you. When I lived underneath the A Street Bridge, we had churches used to come down there and bring tons of brand new stuff down there for us. But when we weren't there, people from the streets used to come down and loot through it and take what they wanted.
I got you.
So it's like somebody always had to be there at all times.
So you all basically had to create almost like your own little army, or I guess like back in the days of the Vikings, everybody had their own crew. You know what I'm saying? You all kind of, it was like you all had to become a unit, a single unit, in order to survive out here.
Make sure who's going to stay and who ain't going to stay for the day.
Wow. Now, a lot of your people in your organization, do you still know a lot of them?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I see them around. A few of them are still out there yet. A few of them are dead. There was one I know, he froze in a dumpster.
Wow. And this was here in Allentown?
In Allentown. He had a boot on his leg. Because he couldn't work, couldn't do nothing no more. He froze in a dumpster.
Wow. Now,
I had a couple others OD'd.
Well, now tell me this then. Situations like that, when you think of Allentown, from the powers that be, they always talk about Allentown being the, all-American city, low crime, things like that. But you never hear about the homeless epidemic. And I'm thinking that if people are dying, it's an epidemic. I don't care. One person is too many to be dying. And how long ago was that he froze to death in a dumpster?
This may have been about 4 years ago.
So it wasn't that long ago.
Right.
And that's something that was unnecessary.
Right.
It didn't have to happen like that.
Right.
You stated that you've gone to different, I don't want to name any organizations or anything like that, but you stated that you had gone to organizations who say they're supposed to be helping. And we've seen in the newspaper that certain people have been saying that there are organizations, we have beds available, this, that, and the other. What's the reality? What's going on?
The reality is, when you go in there, you got to go by their rules.
Okay. Now, are these rules?
Which ain't hard to do, but sometimes they bend the rules.
Okay,
to
tell us
fit
about
them. All right, say you go in there with a little bit of alcohol in your breath. They put you out. Then they got their favorites that come in there, got alcohol in their breath. They can spend the night.
So there's a lot of, as you might say, they select who they want and everything.
Who they want in and out of there.
How many people are in these homes and in these shelters?
I don't have no idea how many are taking up the shelter spaces right now. All I know is down at St. Paul's there's over 40 in there right now. The mission's full. The women's shelter's full. Every place there is right now with beds available is full. There's nowhere for anybody to go anymore. And there's quite a few still out there. I heard there's about maybe 15 more that are actually living on the streets right now.
Wow. What is it that you think, in your opinion, since you've been out there, what can be done, in your opinion, if you had the power? What do you think are some of the things that can be done that could improve the situation?
What I think can improve the situation is all these organizations that got all this and got all that, and got all this and got all that, get together, come up with one plan, come up with a building big enough where they have the proper facilities as far as showering, beds, food, counseling is the main thing. They need counselors that are going to be real counselors, not these ones that want to give you a lip service and do some paperwork on you and file you in the back cabinet.
I got you. Go ahead.
Where do we find these people? Other than we see them on the street.
Well, where the homeless people?
Yeah, yes.
You can't, because the police are chasing them all over. Chasing them out of here, chasing them out of there, and they just keep moving around.
Wow. And now I want to ask you about a dear friend of mine and someone who's been a great advocate, Miss Diane Teddy. Tell us about that. How did you meet her?
I met Diane when I was down at the homeless shelter, St. Paul's. It's called the Drop-In. She came in there with a group of people, and they were talking about taking them and putting them into rooms where there was proper showers, because St. Paul's don't have no showers down there. You can't take a shower. It's just to come in there and with a blanket and a pillow and lay on the floor all night, sleep. But it's warm. You know what I mean? That's what people need when it's really cold out there. You know, so we got to appreciate that. You know, and then Diane come in, pulled us out, and I'll tell you what, she's been a blessing in my life.
And when you say she pulled you out, tell us about some of the things that that she and her group were able to do for you all, and how many of you, because what's the name of her group? Do you know?
I have no idea.
Okay,
what the name
okay,
of
but
it
I don't know. I know there's a name, and we'll get that for you.
Well,
but
she rented. Her group rented the whole third floor of the Grand Hotel, which consists of 13 rooms. Each room goes for $500 a month. Okay, they furnished the rooms for us. Gave us a place where we could shower. Put a microwave out in the hall where everybody could make something to eat. Brought meals down there at times on tables so we could eat. Put clothes on our back. We needed clothes. Because I was living, when I first went in there, a blanket, a pillow, and living out of a suitcase. If you would see my room now, you wouldn't know it. My room's completely furnished.
And what happened after that? Was that what you needed? Because you're formerly homeless. Was that the jump start that you needed to get back into the productive society?
Well, Diane seen something in me that I didn't see. You know, and since then we just became real close friends. And when she says, "I need you," I'm there. Because when I needed someone, she was there.
That's deep. What happened to? Because how many of you all went into the grant?
Well, there was 26 of us. 12 of us completed the program out of 26.
Wow. And what kind of program was it, by the way?
It was just where they were trying to help you get on your feet as far, if you need Social Security disability, they would send you to the places where you could go to apply for it and get you. They had lawyers and stuff that would help you get it. If you need a job, they took you to different places where you could get jobs. You know, you just couldn't sit around. You had to do something to show them that you're trying to get on your own.
And that's a program. I mean, right there, I got to tell Diane, because I'm sure she's listening, that's a program. There's no red tape. There's no, you got to come and do this and make you do that. It's all about just being productive.
One of the main rules were no drugs and alcohol.
Of course.
Okay, but we had a few up there that bent that rule and got put out. And then when they got out there, it's her fault. We should be able to live like we want to live in them rooms. No. No.
Hey,
Are you putting out the $500 a month for the room, then you do what you want to do in the room. But for somebody else's money, they got the right to tell you what to do in that room.
Right.
Hey Don, did they help you get IDs? Because I know it's a lot.
Yeah, they help you get ID. They go through the church as a conference, which is great. And Ben Stevens, if you hear me, thank you, buddy. He's the one that helped me get my Social Security.
Awesome. So it's not that you all didn't have any value. It's just the fact you all needed to get a streamlined process to get to the program that you needed to get to, so you could become part of the production. Is that like one of the main issues when it came to you all being on the streets? You didn't know where to go, how to do it, and everything?
Right. You know, when you come downtown, they say, well, go here or go there. You go to one place, they say, no, you got to go to this one. Then you go to this one. No, you go back to that one. And it's like, but it's a lot of legwork. But if you do the legwork, you'll get somewhere. But you got to keep pushing people. If you don't push them, they ain't gonna do nothing but file you in the files.
Let me just ask a different question. As I mentioned to you before we got on air, that for a short period of time I was homeless, and I went to the soup kitchens, went to South. Well, we say we're not going to mention names of groups. I went to a lot of places, and I found that sometimes the lines were really long to get in, and then it made me go through a lot of stuff before I could even get my meal. I had to go through, like, case in point, I went to a church. I had to listen to a sermon first before I got to eat my food. Is that still the way it is?
No, 2 soup kitchens here in Allentown, Monday through Saturday. You just got to stand in line outside until they open. You go inside and you go through like you're in school through a line. You know, get your food, sit down, you eat. You sit there and you wait until a certain time. They call seconds. You can go back if they have seconds, because the lines are so big right now. It's unbelievable. They go around the block. That's how many people are going in there right now. And that's just not homeless people. That's people that are also got low incomes and can't keep their families.
Now, when you found that, I mean, because I know to survive on the streets of Allentown, it can be done. Like you said, you've been doing it for 8 years.
Right.
But, you know, like you said, there are so many different programs here. Allentown is actually known for the amount of nonprofit organizations.
Over 700.
Yeah, over 700. So for those 8 years, I know you were trying to, quote unquote, get on and get yourself. I know you didn't like being on the street. So every day, was it like you were, what was it like?
Don't get me wrong. All right, summertime's beautiful being out there. But wintertime, you can have it.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, it's rough. It ain't no easy thing, especially when you got to do it on your own.
Right.
You know, I mean, you're reaching out to people and they say, yeah, but yet the hand ain't out.
Right.
You know.
Well, I want, you were saying that how there was a group of you all, and unfortunately you saw 2 or 3 of them just pass away. And
well, since I've been in Allentown for 8 years of homeless people, 8 of my friends, 1 a year died.
Wow. And these are people you rode with.
Well, we rolled together, we drank together, we smoked weed together, we smoked crack together, we ate together, we slept in the same tents together, you know, and anything come down, we had each other's backs.
Right.
You know,
it was a real brotherhood. Well, were
right.
the women involved? Now, what about the women and children?
There was a few women. There was no children.
No children. Okay.
We had a couple of women that were there, but everybody gave respect.
Right.
No, there are families that are homeless too, right?
Yeah, I heard about them. I haven't seen any.
Okay, and I was told that there's over 600 children that are homeless in the area.
That's what I heard too. I just heard that just now.
Okay.
With the situation, as you saw with your friends passing away and things, unfortunately, when Diane came and they put the program in and you spoke at the city council a couple of nights ago, were you surprised at the reaction or the amount of people when you got on stage? And here are the leaders of the city. You've been in the city for 8 years. You were probably there before they became leaders of the city, and you were telling them your experience.
The part that got me when I first went in there was all these other people presenting their problems, and the council was like passing the buck on. You know what I mean? That's all black, and just see this when I get there. Right? But when I got up there, and like the first thing I said, I'm just blessed to open my eyes this morning and to be here to talk to you. And then I gave my story, and at the end, even the council clapped their hands on me. And they had no questions of passing the buck.
Right.
So I owe that to the Lord.
Right. No,
Somebody finally heard my voice.
Right.
But they're not hearing my voice. They're hearing the Lord's voice.
Right.
Because God said, speak up.
Right. And you are actually the voice of the homeless community also that's here in the Allentown, or maybe even Allentown and beyond, the Lehigh Valley.
Well, I hope so. I hope I can do something for somebody, because people did for me.
Awesome. That's a good thing. I mean, you're definitely a cool dude, very gracious. Now, I heard that, you and your girlfriend, you're getting ready to get an apartment. You're working on
Yeah, we're working towards an apartment.
Yeah, girlfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a girlfriend now. Almost the same age.
Hey, look, you know what I'm saying? You get a place to live, now you can afford anything. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not mad at you. You know, and as you're moving forward and life is getting better, I'm really impressed. You know what impresses me the most about you is that you still have a positive attitude. I mean, 8 years on the streets, like you said, you've been through up, down, whatever. You would think that would just grind on you, and you would be bitter.
Let me give you another little story about me. Even though you see me sitting here, I got 20 years in and out of prison. Okay, so I was no angel.
Okay.
Okay? So whatever I got in life, I deserved some of it, but not all of it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And when it comes down to being fair, fair is fair. You know, when I was guilty, I admitted guilty. But when I need something and I deserve it because I worked for it, I should be able to receive it instead of waiting years and years and years down the road to get something.
Right.
Don, do you think some people commit crimes, homeless people commit crimes so they can go to jail because they're going to get warm meals?
Yes, sir. I see people, I know a couple guys that are out there, they'll actually sit out there on Hamilton Street and get drunk so the cops can come by and lock them up for public drunkenness. They do 30 days in jail.
And that's 30 days?
30 days, they're in the heat, they got beds, they got 3 meals. You know what I mean? Even though it ain't the nicest place to be right now.
Right, yeah, I got
the
you.
food got worse. The beds are hard. Beds are hard. The water's the good thing. You know, but
That's interesting. So the survival is really it's really rough, you know, to survive out here, you know, on the streets and everything. I mean, it has to be crucial when you have to go to prison or go to jail just to survive. And I know, like you said, these winters are no joke here. And I mean, and you've been out here for the last 8 years. I remember about 2 years ago with Valentine's Day when it was there, and I can't imagine, you know, being out there.
You know, the past 2 years wasn't too bad, but this year, look out. This year's going to be rough.
Right.
When I lived out there for 8 years, I could tell what the weather was going to do every morning just looking at the sky.
Wow.
And now I look out there today, I got a window I can look out. I can tell you what the weather's going to do before it hits. And we got the big one coming.
The big one's on its way.
That's why Diane and everybody's worried about, because they want to get a meeting by the 12th of February. Well, you better hope you get that meeting before then and get these people off the streets.
How many people would you say still are on the streets? Because you said you saw some of your friends that still out there.
I say there's about maybe 15 to 20 more still on the streets. And it's just like the Mission and just like St. Paul's. In the morning, you got to leave. Where do you go? You can't come back to a certain time. Where do you go? Now, a lot of the people go to the library. Okay? But what happens when this blizzard hits and the library ain't open? Now, usually they'll let you stay, but it all depends how many people they got, you know, in order to maintain what they got to do as far as keeping everything under control.
Wow.
Besides this woman, what was her name again?
This is Diane Teddy.
Diane Teddy. Who else is doing anything? What about our politicians? I know you said they kind of...
Okay, Lee, I'll tell you, back in 2006, I was underneath the A Street Bridge, and a woman from Morning Call came down to interview me. My first thing was, I said to her, I have one question before I answer yours. She says, what's that? I want to know where all the funding is going that the mayor's getting to take the people off the streets. 8 years this went on. Finally, one day in the newspaper, the funding went to the Mission. They painted the Mission up real fancy, put a gazebo down there for men to smoke in, got programs going. Okay, but still, when you're going in there for transition, you can only stay 7 to 11 days, and you got to be out. So where do you go?
So we need a program. How long should a program be for a person to get themselves back into the flow of things?
Well, Diane's program she had for us lasted 9 months.
Wow, that's more than almost a year.
And 12 people made it out of 26, and that's a record. Because I see, like records for rehabs and stuff, 1 out of 100 make it. This is 12 out of 26 made it.
Wow.
because the proper help was there.
Wow.
But the fundings ran out.
But she did this with her own funding. She did this out of her, if I'm not mistaken, I mean, was she connected to anyone? Or was
I think she was, because there was a few others that were involved in it. You know, taking their time out to transport us around where we needed to go to get paperwork done or to get jobs, Social Security disability started. You know, we still have 2 people up there. Conference of Churches right now is paying for their room. The one guy works for Conference of Churches part-time. That helps pay for his room. They're going to get him an apartment soon. You know what I mean? So things are being done. You know. But where's the government? That's what I'm asking. Where's our government? Where are they at with all this money they're supposed to? They can take money overseas and take care of them over there. Why not take care of your own first over here?
That's a good point.
Same way they got the money to put into this big stadium. Why not put our people here in Allentown to work? Instead of bringing people from out of state in here and paying them hundreds of dollars more than what you would pay us.
Right. You're right. You're right. You're absolutely right.
Jobs are not hard to find no more. I'm glad I'm retired. I don't even want to, I think about having to go hunt a job now. It's just not easy. I remember years ago, jobs were like, you could quit one and back into another one the next day. They ain't like that no more.
May I ask, what do you do for fun?
I got a hobby.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I build picture frames out of paper bags and potato chip bags.
Really?
Again, you build
Picture frames,
out of...
paper bags and potato chip bags. I weave them together.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, I make them where there's a cross in the center, and I could put a picture of you on one side, your wife on the other side, and it stands up.
Awesome.
I got a picture frame on my wall with Christ in it, holding the black lamb. That picture frame traveled with me since 2006, and still in mint condition. I don't know how it made it.
Where did that idea come from?
I learned that in prison. One good thing prison taught me,
What's that?
how to make picture frames.
Okay. That's the one thing. I should, well, obviously, okay.
Yeah.
That's good. That's great.
In fact, when we're done with this interview, I'll show you some pictures of them on my cell phone.
I'd love to see him. Oh, you got a cell phone?
Yeah, I got a cell phone, believe it or not.
That's wonderful.
No, this is interesting. First of all, I want to say thank you for such a wonderful interview. Candid, open, and you know, and it's so good to have an actual a good story. You know what I'm saying? For a change. You know what I'm saying? This is a very positive story about not only yourself, but people here in the community who are making things happen.
Okay, I also want to thank all the people out there at Cedar Crest Boulevard, the ones that used to hand me money out the window so I could get something to eat and blankets and pillows. I want to have this time to say thank you to them, and thank you to all, and to my church for helping me when I was down and out, putting me inside, and to all these, some organizations that were there for me when I needed it.
Hey, you know what? And Donald, first of all, I want to say thank you